Good evening, welcome to Extra Time with me, Gary James. And if you're watching the repeat of the show or you're viewing on Catch Up, then good morning or good afternoon. So let me introduce you to our guest, born in Tipton from the world of darts. A very warm welcome to Jamie Hughes. Jamie, welcome. Thanks for coming on the show. And darts. Well, first of all, Jamie Yozza Hughes. Now, when we were talking earlier, I assumed that Yozza came from a programme that was on television years ago called The Boys from the Black Stuff, and there's a character there called Yozza Hughes. But you're telling me it wasn't from that?
No, it was. I got put on the spot. I qualified for the UK Open in Bolton, and I come straight off, and the official put a piece of paper in front of me and said, "Fill this in as soon as you can." So I started filling it in, and there was a thing that said nickname, and I thought, well, I ain't got one. And the first thing that came into my head was my cousin's nickname's Yozza, so I just put that down. And then later on, I found out people come up to me saying the Boys from the Black Stuff, and I looked it up. So I've just decided to run with it now.
Yozza Hughes is brilliant. It's great. So while we're staying with nicknames, moving from nicknames to when you turn up for matches, you walk on music. You use Hey Ho Silver Lining. Yeah. So where did that come from?
Just the Wolves connection, because I'm a Wolves fan. Yeah. That's all it is, really.
Okay. And that's a football bit. Always been obviously a Tipton lad. Then Wolves was going to be the team, or was the possibility another team, or was it?
No, all my family support Wolves, so I was kind of forced into it. I didn't really have a choice from an early age.
And games, do you get to see many of the Wolves matches, or are you always away?
No, I'm away playing darts most weekends, probably about 45 out of 52 in the year, so...
You do a lot of travelling.
Yeah, hell of a lot.
But it's looking good for Wolves at the moment, though. They're a couple of points behind the playoffs, plenty of games to go. They're on a good run. I really hope they can do it, and they deserve the promotion. But back to darts. When did it all start, Jamie? Because when you were at school, were you like, most lads into other sports, like into football or cricket?
Yeah, I was mad about football. Played every night until I left school, and then I had to go to work, and I was a bit too tired to play then after. Yeah. But I still played football Sundays. I played Saturday League as well then. But it all took a back seat when I started playing darts and started getting a bit better, and I went into the darts then. Yeah,
because it's one of those things, certainly, I mean, lots of people love darts. I certainly, thinking back, and we were always playing darts, so it was a piece of hardwood on the door at home and hung the dartboard up and away you went, and always, maybe when you got going into pubs, there seemed to be a dartboard in every pub. So when did you actually start? I mean, was that somebody in the family that got you into it, or were your pals?
No, my first memories of it, I had as you've just said, I had a board on the back of a wall, and I used to watch the Lakeside World Championships, and I'd be watching them and throwing, trying to copy their throw and things like that when I was about 7, I think, 6, 7. So it all started from there, really. But I got into it by accident, really. I played football for a local social club, and that was one man short, and I said, "Do you fancy a game?" Yeah. And I said, yeah, and I went up for the ball and I hit the ball. And I was like, yeah, you've played before. I said, well, no, not really. And then I went up and broke first dart. And I says, right, you mean next week? So it just started from then.
And what age was that?
I think I was about 18 at that time.
Oh, okay. So you didn't come up, because I know we had one of the shows earlier on, we had a couple of young lads on, 15 and 13, I think, Jordan Singh and Blaine Small, who play for in the junior league, but so you didn't go through that with the stages that they're going through now.
No, straight into the seniors, really.
Yeah, and the art of playing darts. I mean, I remember playing it. It was just like throw it, but there has to be more to it than that. I mean, do you have your dart specially made, and is there a way you throw that makes you different to other players?
Yeah, every player's throw, it's like a signature. That you won't see many players whose throws the same. It's very individual, and different players with different styles need different darts and different flights and stems. It's all about experimenting and finding what works for you. And then when you do, then that's when the hard work starts.
So have you found your ideal throwing action yet, or is it still?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I always like the Taylor grip on a dart. I like a very grippy dart. but it was just finding the right weight, and I believe I've found that now. So.
And the darts that you use now, are they made specially for you, or?
No, I bought them. I tried one at a friend's set. They got exactly the same set, and I liked them, so I bought them. But I'm sponsored by Red Dragon, and I've got to go down to their factory and go through a process, and they'll make me a custom dart.
Oh wow.
To my specifications, what suits my grip and things like that.
And to the novice, the novice is obvious that wouldn't know the difference between one dart and another. What about the flights? How important is that?
It's major because it alters the trajectory of the dart through the air and the way the dart sits in the board, which is the way your dart sits in the board is important because you don't want it blocking the other darts where they're going.
Right.
And it's all about the way your darts fly, where you can group them better.
And work-wise, you said that you sort of stopped playing football a little bit, and you had to go to work. So what are some of the jobs that you've had, and what are some of the sacrifices possibly you've had to make to get to where you are now in the world of darts?
Yeah, I've always worked for my family business. Really, I went into that from school, and to this day I still work for the family.
Right.
And but the big thing really is I had to have a lot of time off to do the travelling and that, which affects my wage package, which affects my home life.
Because even though you are a professional darts player, obviously you still have to work to top the wages up. So you're not because there's two different routes, or two different channels that play darts. There's obviously the channel you play under, which is the BDO, isn't it? The British Darts Organisation. And then there's the other one that we see on telly on Sky, the likes of Phil the Power Taylor playing. And is there a chance that you're going to move across? Or?
Yeah, I'd never say never, but I'm content at the moment doing what I'm doing. You know, I'd never say never, but we'll see.
And you've been quite successful, haven't you, really, since starting out? I mean, you're number 5 in the world at the moment on the BDO. Your wins, you won the Gwynedd Open in 2013, the Antwerp Open in 2014, and recently the Romanian Classic. That was this year, wasn't it? So
yeah, January.
So tell us a little bit about those and what it was like to play in those, and did you win them comfortably, or were the other players fairly good? It was their close matches.
Yeah, like the Gwynedd, that was a couple of years back now, and I can remember getting put up at about 5:30 by the lad who texts me everywhere and thinking it's a bit too early for me. And I think I got back in the house about 1 o'clock. After I'd won it and had to travel back, so that was a very long day.
Yeah. And Antwerp?
Yeah, that was my first ranking win. That was special. Beating Martin Adams in the final. That was very special.
And then obviously the Romanian Classic this year. That's obviously fresh in your mind.
Yeah, just in January, it was a good tournament. The World Master was there, Martin Phillips. A few of the other top players, so it was a good field to come through. More ranking points on the table in the chase for Layside this year, so brilliant.
Yeah, and I mean, is there ever a time you think that you'll be able to stop doing your other job and be earning enough as a pro darts player to fully 100% concentrate on that?
Yeah, I don't know. To be a pro, really, you rely on getting exhibitions, which I ain't really got into yet.
Right.
But that's what you need, really. You need to have a good exhibition thing behind you, people booking you to come to their pub and play.
So, and to do that, I mean, do you have an agent at the moment, or do you do everything yourself? Or?
No, I've got a guy who helps me out, Mac. He books all the hotels, sorts the transport, entry fees, everything. Basically, I just turn up with my darts and play.
All right, but at the end of the day, do you have to pay for that, or is that covered from someone else when you go to the tournament?
He's one of the sponsors, so he just does that anyway, because he can keep hold of the money then.
And sponsors are obviously very important to you, otherwise possibly you wouldn't be able to do what you do, maybe.
No chance. It costs an hell of a lot of money to travel around Europe, and the spending money you have to take with you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's probably one of the sides of it that people don't realise. They think, oh, you know, darts, that's a great way to earn a living. That's easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you've also got that bit, that other side of it. You know, the logistics part of it. And,
like I say, a lot of people don't see you. That I think I'm going away for an holiday. They don't see you getting back in at like 5 o'clock on a Monday morning, like shattered and having to get up for work. Well, not having any sleep, just going straight to work.
Okay. Well, for now, we're going to talk more in a second. But in the words of Jim Bowen, you can't beat a bit of bully. So we're off to see what we could have won. It's half time on Extra Time. Please join us in a couple of minutes. And if you'd like to contact the show, then please email extratime@bigcentre.ctv. We'll see you in a minute. So welcome back. This is the second half of Extra Time. I'm Gary James with guest dart player Jamie Hughes. Let's take a look at a couple of photographs of you, Jamie, in action. There's one with Yozza on the back, and we've got another one. I think it's the same match there. You holding the what's that flag? Tell us a little bit about that. Is that obviously something you've won?
It's the Black Country flag.
Right.
It's they had a Black Country Day last year, and that designed a flag for the area. Yeah. And that was what they came up with.
And that the photographs there we saw of you playing, was that a competition that you won?
Yeah, that was the Windmill World Masters. I lost in the final to Martin Phillips.
Oh, Martin Phillips, he's a pretty good player, isn't he?
Yeah, he was about in the mid-80s. I think he's got over 100 caps for Wales. It's the most capped international in the world.
And when you play somebody like that's obviously a lot older than you are, as well as all that experience, do the nerves kick in a little bit?
Sometimes, but the more experience you get, the less the nerves tend to come out. It's experience is massive.
Yeah, because I would have thought having to throw a dart, and obviously you know where you want to hit. If you're a little bit nervous, any shakes, that's...
Yeah, it can throw it off course, yeah.
And how much time do you spend practising then?
I don't really have a set routine for practice. I just grab time whenever I can, because sometimes I work nights, sometimes I work days, you know, so it's hard to get a routine, so I just get an hour when I can. And
because I know your family business, it's a welding business, isn't it? Yeah. That's what you do. So do you actually do the welding yourself? Because I'm building up to saying, what about your hands? Are they insured, or what would happen?
No. Well, I have had a couple of mishaps at work, you know. I had to have some time off. I nearly sliced my finger off. Not too long back, but, you know, it's just one of them things. I've got to make a living. Darts is just my hobby, really.
Right, okay. But that's just what I was thinking, like, if you did something like to your hand and you've got a big tournament coming up, it's you know, it's going to ruin it. And England, we know you play for England. Yeah. How did that come about?
It's through the county averages and how you do in the England darts tournaments. Yeah, they've got their own ranking table. And I had a good season. I was top of the averages. And I got selected. That was 3 years ago now. Yeah. And I've kept my place since.
And how does it work with England? Is there so many matches throughout the year, or is it a bit like how the football works? You know, it's like 2 or 3 big tournaments in a year. How does it work?
They have every year. They have the Home Internationals where we play Wales and Scotland, and then off that there's European Cups, Six Nations Cup, and World Cups.
Right.
So there's normally one of them every year. Maybe miss a year every 4. So.
And you're playing for England. Is it for the fact that you're playing for your country, or is the as in with other tournaments, there's money involved and things that come?
It's just playing for your country, you know, the pride in singing your national anthem. Yeah. You know, and then thinking, you know, I've got to play darts against somebody from another country, and I've got the whole country behind me. I've got to win for the country.
Yeah, that's. Sometimes we think some of our England players might, think a bit more along those lines. And is there a great camaraderie between you guys and darts players? Because if you're travelling, as you say, 50 odd weeks of the year, and then you're in a different country every weekend, do you all get on well?
Yeah, most of us do on the BDO, to be honest. We're all good friends. We all have a drink with each other, laugh and joke, go out for meals, things like that. And you got the joker on the tour, Glenn Durrant. Me and him are very good friends. And Jim Williams, we had good banter between ourselves and that.
Yeah, so it's good fun as well. So it's not a lonely existence then.
No. We're all in the same boat. We've all got families at home that we miss. So we all share things in common.
And you play for Warwickshire County, don't you? And I think there's I think we're going to show it on Big Centre TV in the coming weeks. Your game Warwickshire versus Cambridge, but don't tell us the result because it's still to come up. But again, when you're playing for the county, is that on a regular basis? Or?
It's you play 9 games a year. It's one every month, and then they have the summer off. So that's it really. But you travel all around the country to different counties.
So there's a lot involved in it, isn't there?
An hell of a lot of travelling.
Yeah. And what about the women's darts players? Do they play with you in the same tournaments, or is
there's a women play the county, and there's a women's darts circuit as well. So they travel all the same places as us.
Because it's a sort of sport where a woman can play a man. And does that happen much, or
not really? Only in an open event, which is open to both men and women, but not a ranking event.
Yeah, because you would think. I mean, it doesn't depend on strength, on height, on size. It's just the art of throwing that dart, isn't it? And
there is some very good lady players out there, you know. Yeah. Who could give a lot of us men a run for our money.
And advice to anybody watching, any youngsters thinking of taking up darts, what would your advice to them be? Well, bearing in mind, obviously you started what these days is a little bit late, isn't it, at 18?
Yeah, it's tough when the young lads, but get involved with the West Midlands County Youth set up. That's a brilliant start off for you. And just be patient, because it's took me a long time to do what I'm doing. I've been playing like 11 years. Yeah. And you get some of the youngsters now that think after a year or two that can be playing against the pros. It don't work like that. You have to build yourself up gradually.
And I suppose
be very patient.
And the discipline and what you can and can't do, I suppose. And I mean, years ago when darts first was on the scene and we first used to watch darts on TV, I mean, there was a big thing where the darts players, some of them, they were big lads, and they used to, you see them having a few pints while they were playing, and back then, smoking as well. Obviously, that's all changed now. Yeah. So do you have to watch your diet? Or what?
Yeah, it's something that players I'm looking at now because of how long the days are getting. You know, you can be starting at 9 o'clock in the morning and not finishing till 8 at night. It's a very long day to be playing darts. Yeah. And people are looking at ways to get more out themselves, and their diet is a big part of that.
And what about any superstitions or rituals? What do you do before a match? Is there anything that you put your left shoe on first or anything like that?
Not really, but throughout the day I like to do the same things again. Right. Like going to the toilet, I'll use the same toilet, things like that. But that's after I've already won. Yeah.
And I mean, talking about that and diet and playing, it's one of those sports, I suppose, if you keep healthy, you can play literally until you're well into your 70s or 80s. And in fact, there's a couple of facts, because I know you were coming on, obviously. The oldest female darts player in the world, until she passed away a few months ago, was a lady from Bournemouth called Candy Miller, 94. Still playing darts. And the oldest male, and I believe the gentleman is still with us, is a guy called George Harness, who's 97. He's from Boston in Lincolnshire and still playing. Yeah,
it's tremendous, for him to still be playing at that age. Absolute inspirational.
Oh, it's good, isn't it? And it's one of those sports. And it doesn't matter what the weather's doing. No. Because you're indoors. Yeah. which is good. So what's up next then? What does the future hold?
Well, the immediate future is this week we've got another county game against Glamorgan. Right. The week after that, there's a tournament in Lincoln. I'm going to. The week after that's the Home Internationals. I think the week after that's the German Open. So as you can see,
there's loads going on. Yeah. And who's the best player you've played against, and who's the worst? Who's the one you've stood there thinking, I wish I could laugh?
Yeah, I wouldn't like to name anyone who, no, I don't like to do that. But the best players I've played against has got to be Stephen Bunting and Martin Adams.
They're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what makes them so special?
Well, Bunting, he was just unreal on the dartboard. He just used to hit anything he went for. And Adams is just... The way he plays the game, he's so calm and he's in charge of his emotions all the time, and he just makes it look effortless.
And practice and practice and practice.
Yeah.
Makes perfect, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you wanted to saying to me earlier, you wanted just to give a message out to one of your pals out there.
Yeah, get well soon, Jack. I'll see you soon, mate.
And what? Who's Jack? Is he a darts player as well?
He's he run the Tipton Super League for more years than I'd care to remember.
Yeah.
And he was big influence in my early career.
Good. Okay. Well, hopefully he's watching, and or you can drop him a line and tell him to watch. But Jamie, thank you. That's it for another show. Many thanks, mate.
Yeah,
thank you for coming in, and we'll stay in touch, and we'll get you on again in a few months' time.
Hopefully, yeah.
See how things are going, and that's brilliant. Now, if you'd like to get in touch with the show, maybe you've got a suggestion for a guest you'd like to see on the sofa, or you just like to tell us about your sport. 'Cause if we're not talking about your sport, then please get in touch, and we'll do our best to get those guests that you're suggesting on the show in the coming weeks and months ahead. And the address again is extraTime@bigcentre.tv. We've got tomorrow night, Friday night, we've got boxing on Extra Time. That's at 8 o'clock, so please join us for that. But for now, it's full time on Extra Time. Bye-bye.